Okay, folks, something a little different here today. So, this is actually the oldest son's latest acquisition, and he's got himself a genuine Mazda. This is a 94, and I think it's a B2300. So, he's picked this up from the place that he worked at, somebody he knew. They acquired it and then made him a deal, so he's going to be doing something here to this.
Yeehaw!
Take a quick look on the inside here. For 94, actually pretty decent shape. 161,000 miles. Clarion millennial theft deterrent here. But good stuff. As you can see, she's seen her better days, been left out in the sun. Single stage paint on it that's kind of left the chat, if you will. And so he's got some plans. He got this, picked it up yesterday, came over last night, and boy, he jumped right in and started dismantling some pieces. So there's some tweaks. I think he's got some plans on it. I don't know that he's decided exactly what he wants to do with this yet, whether he's going to keep it for himself and his business, or if he's just going to go ahead and put a paint coat on it, fix some things, and maybe make somebody else the proud owner. Don't know, but we'll see if we can help him with this. I know he's initially talked about just rattle canning this paint job, kind of a Temu TikTok sort of paint thing. Hopefully I can steer him into a slightly different and better direction. Put at least a decent decent stage, single stage type of paint on it or something like that that looks good and will last a little bit more. But yeah, fun little project for him. Good thing for a guy to start out with and move through. So we'll try to take you on the ride here. He's going to be doing most of the work, so I might not be able to film all the bits and pieces, but we'll see what we can do. And anyway, the Mazda B2300. Oh man, you blink and things start happening here. So this little Mazda, things are happening. Headliner's coming out, it's getting prepped for paint. We got the bed off. Why? Because the bed needs some work. So we'll get the bed straightened out a bit so it fits on right. Then I'm going to try my hand at some body work here, even though I am definitely not a bodywork guy. But this is a good truck to practice on, I guess. So at one point this kissed something here, has bent in. You can tell the difference between the two sides. So we'll get this hammered out a little, see if we can square that up, take care of the hood not fitting. And then this little thing is going to get sanded off and set up for paint. So we'll set up and see what we can do. Okay, let me show you what I got going on here. My problem. So when this thing got kissed, we've got quite a bit of a kink in here, quite a bit of a kink down in here as well. On the back side of this, there's a second piece of metal that goes under it. So I can't quite get up under to pull this out. And I don't own one of those cool tools where you just spot weld and you hammer things out on that. But my slide hammer tool does have this. So I think what I'm going to try is I'm going to go ahead and drill a couple holes in here. And then I'll screw this in and see if I can't get this thing to relieve a little through there. I'm not trying to be perfect on this because this will be covered up, but what I am trying to do is straighten this out to the right dimension so that everything else can get lined up somewhat squarish. This has come out pretty decent so far. I still got a few more bits, but right now I'm getting hung up on these major creases. So we'll try this next and see if we can't pull some of these pieces right out. Well, the technique does work. You can see I have relieved it off a little here. Just kind of a pain in the ass to set up and do this way. We'll try to get a few more of these little spots right here and see what we can do, and we'll go from there. So keep trying this one. Well, it's by no means perfect. In fact, I would call it a Monet. Good from far, but far from good. But the big thing in which I wanted to try to do was to get this essentially straightened out so that this fender is in the right position. I'll probably plug these holes that I drilled, weld those up and get them painted just so they don't rust. Not that that matters a whole lot, but got a little bit of it back. I didn't have the dolly I needed to get into there. Excuses, I know. But again, I'm not trying to work this out to be showroom type of thing. I am trying to figure out what to do. On this corner, she got creased pretty good there. It's a pretty severe pinch. This thing needs to move out. So I might see what I can do to get that up. I don't know, probably a bit much for the scope of what we're doing, but try something maybe? I've decided what I'm going to do here on this fender. So I actually already started. This here was pushed in whenever this got pushed in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back out. And if you look at the line of this, you can see we're nice and flat there, but then this kicks out coming to this end. So I'm going to loosen up this bolt. I'm going to go ahead and push this in, pull that out, and then I'm going to try to work this over this way. As you saw before, it's got a pretty sharp crease there. So I got to be kind of careful because I don't want to make up too much work for myself in terms of finishing this corner. But man, just want to try to get that cleaned up. For reference here on what the other side looks like, got this nice smooth. You can see how this is out, and this body line goes all the way down. So that's what we're working with on there. We'll set this up and okay, well, my method works great, but unlike professional repair shops where they just weld on a stud and pull it out, I didn't do that. So that means I get to weld up all my holes, and we'll get to that next. All right, well, we've got this corner good. Well, good enough. We're going to end up using some primer filler, and that should get it nice and smooth to go there. So my next task is going to be working on this hood. As you can see, we got a pretty good little kiss here, bent up and under. Mount. Yeah, mount. So I'll get the camera positioned up. I'm gonna start on this the same way I just got done doing the other corner and the other repairs. I'm gonna work on this crease right here first. I'm gonna pull this out, and I think as I start pulling this out, this thing will relieve up and we can work on some of the other stuff. There's really nothing for me to hit on the back side because this is 2 layers here again. So I'll work on this second layer second, but I'll work on this crease here first. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before, drill me a few holes, tap, tap, tap this thing up, and then work on this edge. And we'll see how it starts to look. So let's get to it. Okay, we've got a few hits on it and already looking quite a bit better. Yeah, I really wish I didn't have to fill in all those holes. I wish I just had that one I could weld and pull. But that's not too bad. So right along the crack there, we're gonna probably still have to do some hammering and stuff. This center point here is kind of bothersome, so I'm probably gonna end up having to pull that a little too. But, nah, not bad. Let's take a peek from the other side. Here is the good side. We'll come over here. You can see this thing is starting to bend in about right here, coming up towards our crease. And so I've got to start probably about here, pulling this whole lip down. And this is actually pretty good right into there. So we've got a lot of movement to come down, flatten that channel out, and come around into this. So that's what we'll focus on next. I'm gonna point something out here on this hood, which is kind of a problem. So if you notice on the good side here, you can see we've got a profile essentially like that goes all the way around. But on this other one, this piece has been dented in here and folded over. And so I've got a bit of a fight to get this profile in shape, because on the bottom side, I still have to deal with this big bow down. So you can see maybe a little bit of the difference there. Might be pretty hard to come out in this video, but made a little bit of effort on that one. Still need to work on getting that bent down and do so without totally creasing this whole thing. So that's currently what I'm trying to work on, is get that set. All right, I've been studying on this here. If you can see, let's see here. You can see there is quite the dent there. So this is where this thing was pushed up and over. I can't get to the bottom of this because of the fact that I'd have to take the skin off of this to then separate to get a dolly underneath to do something with, or potentially drill some holes and do something on that. So you bodywork guys are gonna probably scream when you see this, because I'm probably doing this all wrong. But I think what I'm gonna try to do here is apply some heat where this metal is all pushed up and get it hot. Now I know that actually makes it get hotter and expand it, but I'm gonna then tap it down and I'm gonna cool it off and see if I can't shrink that a little, even without the dolly pushing the rest of the metal around it. I'm gonna try, and I'll either be somewhat better or way worse. And all I can say is, for you guys that know how to do it, I wish you were here, but you're not. So I'm gonna try this. Now I'm just going to try to okay. I don't know if that was supposed to work like that, but it actually worked pretty good. I already had the other issue of this side that was bent in from that, so that remains. I don't honestly know if there's a lot I'm going to do about that, and I still have to try to pick this up and kind of curl this around a little. So I got a few more little tweaks to do, but I'm going to work on that here now. But that worked out pretty slick. All right, maybe now I'm just getting cocky, but I'm kind of wondering if I can't get this low spot up by adding heat here, and instead of doing the tappity tap down there, maybe I can just get this thing warm enough that I can kind of kiss it on the back side with my tool, because I can't get a tool in here, and kind of do a little stretching underneath. So that's what I'm going to try to do next. This might be pushing my luck. Well, I think it made it a little better. I don't think it made it worse. So we're going to call that a win on this section. Now we just try to reestablish this curl a little better. All right, as you can see, it's starting to get dark around here, but we're still putzing around in and out of things. So next up, we're going to do some welding, and we're going to weld up these holes that I made right here. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you probably, when you saw me welding that last one, saw that I had this little metal bar here. This is actually a bar of aluminum. And so what I was trying to do is stick it behind my holes wherever I could. And you guys probably know the trick, right? Your steel won't stick to the aluminum, and it also helps dissipate the heat. So this really thin metal that you're welding, you can have a nice little weld there without having to burn it all the way through. Now, there are some spots here where I don't have that option. I didn't have that option the last time either. So unfortunately, this will work in some places, but won't work in all. But we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see if we can't make something.
Get it, Bubba.
The welding and grinding goes along pretty good here, and the evening's getting pretty late, so this is a good part to stop the video. Join us on the next video as we continue on, get the hood fit, and start working on that tailgate here of this Mazda. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you on the next one.